Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're going over our transfer plans for Double Game Week 36 where we look to bring in some Newcastle assets. If you guys are enjoying the FPL videos, as always drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel and we are trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by the end of the season, so please help us reach that goal. As always, have notification bells turned on so you don't miss any future videos, and with that being said, let's get into it. So first off, let's have a look at how we've got on in Game Week 35, and overall an absolutely horrendous game week for us. The game week average this week was very low, so it is understandable that we had a bad score, but this score of 37 points was actually our lowest score we've had in any game week for the entirety of this season. So very poor from us this week, just the 37 points. We took a 3k red arrow from 315k down to 318k, and that was our first red arrow that we've taken in the last 8 weeks. We were coming off 7 consecutive green arrows. So a bit frustrating there. Could have had a lot more points had De Gea not making a huge mistake at the back. There was now 2 mistakes from Manchester United in defence in the last couple of game weeks, which have cost us dearly in terms of getting FPL points. Luke Shaw last week giving away the 99th minute penalty due to an unnecessary handball in the box, and then this week De Gea making a big mistake in goals, costing Manchester United their only goal they conceded for that game, which really should have been saved. A very routine save there from De Gea, slipped and then palmed the ball into his own net. A calamity of errors there, so very non-ideal, should I say, for in terms of facilitating FPL points for our side. Nonetheless, we'll look on the bright side for this game week. Mitoma was able to still scrape some points from an extremely disappointing performance from Brighton. Very lucky that he was able to walk away with some points in this game, as after his shot came off the post, hit McAllister in the back, or in the back of the head or in the shoulder, and still managed to ricochet in. So a bit fortunate that Mitoma picked up those assist points. But Salah and Kane, the single game week warriors, continue to perform for us. Very happy to have both Salah and Kane in the side. Kane has now returned in 10 out of his last 12 games. He's put up 27 points in the last 3 weeks. He's been absolutely excellent since we've had him in this season. So consistent in terms of bringing in FPL points, and he's only got a 20% ownership right now inside the top 100k, so it's still extremely differential. So I'm very happy to still have Harry Kane in the team. Otherwise, Haaland blanked on captaincy with just a 4 points, which was very disappointing. We could have captained either Kane or Salah. They would have produced more than Erling Haaland this week, obviously. And so that pretty much meant that we only had 3 out of our starting 11 players provide returns, with only Mitoma, Salah and Kane finding some FPL points this week. Triple Manchester United all blanked against West Ham. Rashford didn't really get involved too much in that game, didn't have too many good chances. Triple Brighton, 2 of those 3 guys blanked. Estupiñán considered 5, which was absolutely outrageous and very unexpected. In fact, he could have had himself some attacking returns, put in a couple of good balls into the box, was making a couple of good attacking runs as well. So of course I do like that aspect of Estupiñán, but Brighton's defence has now shipped 7 goals in their last 4 matches. And Solly March is also a major concern for the team. He is definitely a player that is on the chopping block for at least a Double Game Week 36, and if he's not back, a Double Game Week 37 as well, as he did pick up that hamstring injury, which can be quite lengthy. There wasn't too many comments made on it about it by De Serbi, so it's kind of hard to tell the extent of the injury and how long he's going to be out for. Hopefully it's not too bad, but with hamstring injuries they can be quite a while. But of course, with those Brighton double game weeks, it couldn't come at a worse time either to have one of those Brighton lads injured. So maybe March to McAllister could be the move this week as well. I was initially only going to make the one move, but after this March injury I may have to make that extra move, as I still want some Brighton assets in the team, as McAllister has been finding the net recently, has taken the second most amount of shots since game week 31 as well, so he is notching up some chances, which is good to see. Most of them are from outside of the box, but the good thing is he's shooting, and when he's shooting he's always got a chance of picking up FPL points. He's on some corners, he's on penalties as well, which is definitely very tempting. So March to McAllister could be the move, assuming March is not going to play any fixtures in game week 36. I don't really see why he would be able to return for these fixtures, as hamstring injuries are typically a very long term or at least medium term injury. So a bit concerning there. Otherwise, Watkins did blank. He was a player that we took a punt on this week. We've held him for a long time now, and now I think is the last time having him in the team. I'm going to look to get him out this week, and I'll discuss some replacements for him and discuss who I like more between Isak and Wilson, as I think that's going to be a big toss-up that FPL managers have when choosing those Newcastle forwards, which one to pick between Isak and Wilson. And Trippier also blank for Newcastle, as once again they couldn't record the clean sheet, conceding multiple goals and a very good away performance from Arsenal in Game Week 35. Otherwise, looking at the benches to add to the pain of De Gea making that mistake, Ramsdale picked up 10 points, got himself a clean sheet and triple bonus points, plus an extra save bonus point. So really piling on the pain for Game Week 35. Very frustrated that Manchester United defence for continually making mistakes. They're becoming a little bit unreliable at the back in the last couple of weeks with a couple of big mistakes, should I say. So a bit annoying there. But Ramsdale is going to be looking primed for a starting spot this week, as I'm not sure I can trust that Manchester United defence anymore, as they are making too many mistakes. Otherwise, Botman blank, but I'm happy to have him for double Game Week 36. Henry also blanked. He's probably not going to get used at all for the rest of the season, and Andreas still remains there with that injury. So let's discuss a couple of players that we're looking to move out, and of course discuss the replacements as well, mainly those Newcastle forwards, to see who I like more between Isak and Wilson. So as expected, Ollie Watkins is going to be the man that we're going to replace this week, almost definitely. I am probably also going to replace March as well if he's going to be out for double Game Week 36, but there's only one real replacement that I like for March, and that is McAllister. I still want to have triple Brighton assets, and I don't have enough money in the bank to be able to afford March up to any sort of good, consistent FPL point scoring midfielder, as he is so cheap at just 5.2. I believe I can sell him for 5.1 or 5.2 I can sell him for right now. So it's not great in terms of getting a solid midfielder option in with such a small amount of money in the bank. So that's why McAllister just 5.5, probably going to rise to 5.6 shortly, will be a good replacement for March. Otherwise, Watkins, probably a player with more decent alternatives in terms of replacing him in the forward line. Let's discuss those options now. The first one here is Isak. I'm gonna kind of weigh up my preferences between Isak and Wilson, who's got what going for them, and so on and so forth. So first of all, Isak is coming in at 7 mil. He's 0.1 cheaper than Wilson, which is handy, especially at this point in the season where you're trying to squeeze in any extra budget to maximize the starting 11. His ownership is slightly higher though, so a little bit more template compared to Wilson. Saying that, still a solid differential for the rest of the season, whereas Wilson, a very, very low ownership inside the top 100,000 managers. Isak, on the other hand though, probably has a higher chance of playing, and is probably going to get more minutes across the rest of the season, as even if Callum Wilson starts, he's probably going to come off early. It's going to be very rare where Callum Wilson plays the full 90 in any games, especially in a double game week. I don't see Callum Wilson playing a full 90 in any one of the fixtures. It's probably going to be around 60 to 70 minutes in one, then maybe 30 to 40 in the other one. Isak, on the other hand, obviously does get more minutes, but if he is playing with Wilson, gets pushed out wide, as we saw against Arsenal when Isak and Wilson did play together for the first time this season, or they've been started together for the first time this season. It wasn't Isak playing up top, he was pushed out wide. Wilson was the main striker, and that was probably a better option in terms of Wilson, or a better asset for Wilson to have, is that he's playing more centrally compared to Isak when they are playing together. So that's something that Wilson has going for him. Wilson also does have a lot better expected goals per 90. He does have the second highest expected goals per 90 out of any player this season, only behind Erling Haaland, that has played 1,000 minutes. So he's getting extremely good chances, and he has been fairly clinical as well. 15 goals and 5 assists this season with just a 13 XG. A very, very good output for Callum Wilson, and his per 90 stats, as I touched on, are extremely good. A 0.75 XG per 90. Once again, that stat is only better by Erling Haaland this season, which is very good signs for Callum Wilson owners. Essentially, to summarize, Isak probably has a better chance of getting more minutes. I would assume Isak does get rested in one of their two double game week fixtures, as will Callum Wilson. So I think both of them will start one and come off the bench for one. I just think across the double game week, Isak will probably have 10 to 20 more minutes than Wilson for the double. So I guess you could say that is advantageous for Isak. But for me, I do personally like Wilson, as across the double game week, their minutes will be similar. Obviously, may get 10 to 20 minutes less than Isak, but per 90, he does have a lot better expected goals figure. If they do play together on the pitch at any point, Wilson will probably be playing more centrally, which is also a good thing for him, and he has been very, very clinical this season, as well as, to be fair, Isak has been very clinical as well, 10 goals with a 7.6 XG, but I just like the expected goals per 90 figure of Wilson. I think that can get him over the line and make him a better option for the remainder of the season, and especially for this double game week 36 set of fixtures as well with Leeds and Brighton. Potentially also, since Worcester only played 77 minutes in the most recent game compared to Isak's 90, Wilson will start the first fixture against Leeds, which is probably a better one to start from an attacking perspective compared to Brighton at home. Both fixtures, though, to be fair, are fairly strong after Brighton did concede 5 goals in their most recent match to Everton, and now they're playing away as well, and Newcastle at home have been extremely good at finding the back of the net in recent game weeks, obviously barring that Arsenal game. So I like Wilson a little bit more than Isak. Saying that though, Isak's still an extremely good option. If you wanted to have both of these guys for double game week 36, also could be worthwhile if you didn't want to double up on Newcastle defense, or you only wanted to have 2 Newcastle players and you don't have Kieran Trippier. Looking at a third alternative though, if I didn't want to go for Isak or Wilson, which I probably will go with, but also looking at a good recommendation, or an honourable mention, should I say, in the forward line at just 5.7 is Dom Solanke, one of the most informed forwards in FPL right now. I believe ranks 4th for form amongst FPL forwards, just a 4.3% ownership. He's been in some really good form this season, and has been one of the main reasons why Bournemouth have been so successful this Premier League campaign against all odds. Everyone had them sitting in last place, getting relegated, but Dom Solanke, he's had an excellent season, 6 goals and 10 assists, a very, very good output for a Bournemouth striker. He's done very, very well. He's got some good fixtures in the run-in as well. 2 fixtures with an FDI rating of 2, 1 with an FDI rating of 3. Crystal Palace away next week in game week 36 is a good chance for him to add to his tally. He's now picked up 5 attacking returns in his last 5 fixtures with 2 goals and 3 assists. So he's been in some really nice touch recently. He's got some good fixtures coming up, and just at 5.7, a really good cheap alternative to some of those other popular forward options. Maybe if you've only got one premium forward in Erling Haaland, then you've got a Newcastle lad as well. Maybe you could combine those 2 guys with Solanke if you were looking for a third forward pick. But for me, it is all about those Newcastle options this week, as I'm probably going to look to bring in Callum Wilson. He is 0.1 more, but I do think with his good underlying numbers, I think he's going to be a better option than Isak for a double game week 36. Thanks for watching today's transfer plans for double game week 36. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, drop a like and subscribe. We are trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by the end of the season, so please help us reach that goal. As always, have notification bells turned on so you don't miss any future videos. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.